Hey everybody, this is Meyer, and in this video what I'm going to be doing is showing you how to make a sub bass here in Icarus. We're going to be using the Arpeggiator. It's a really simple sound, but it's really important. This is what it sounds like. And in context, here's when the sub pad comes in. Cool, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so to go ahead and get started, what I'm going to do is take my init patch and just clone it. And I guess while I'm at it here, we're going to initialize both the init patch and initialize this patch that I'm going to be working on. And for these inits, I don't want to have this EQ, otherwise I'm going to forget that it's on. So that'll be good. And once again, remember what we're doing. We're going to be creating a sub pad. Now, there are a couple ways to do this. One way is just to basically, a sub bass. One way to do this is basically to create the sub bass and then have it play each note. But since we have the sub pad pattern and we have this really powerful arpeggiator built here into Icarus, we can use the arpeggiator built in to actually do the offbeat sub for us. And that'll make things really easy. So what I'm going to do is take the sub pad pattern, create a new pattern and call it sub bass. And of course, give it the same color. And now I'm just going to paste the MIDI onto that pattern. And this is what we're going to be working with right here. So this is the sub bass. Right now, it's just playing, nothing, just a note. But what we'll be doing is using the arpeggiator to do this basically offbeat part for us. So let me go to the arpeggiator and I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to turn the sustain up. And basically what we want to do is 8th note offbeats. So what'll help is setting the speed to basically 1/2. And we're going to loop this basically at 2. So all I want it to do is play this note or play this note on the offbeat and then release it. So this is what's going to happen. This first beat or half beat is where the kick, or 2 beats, because its speed is 1/2. So that each one of these is going to be sort of like 2 16th notes. This will be the first 2 16ths when the kick comes in, and then this will be that 8th note that plays afterwards. And I'm using the release here, that way the note stops playing. So if I'm playing this now, it wouldn't release it. So what this release forces it to do is stop on the first 8th note. Hopefully you can kind of see what's going on. I think it'll be easier when you hear it when I play it. So when I press play, yeah, there you go. You kind of get the idea. That's what we're going to be working with here. So as it starts, we're not going to have any attack. We may have a little bit of release, so we avoid some of this click. And we may have to add some attack back as well. And the sustain is going to be up all the way. So this is the basic pattern. What's really important is we get this filter right. So I'm going to choose this MS-20 filter from the Korg MS-20 and just bring the cutoff down. This is already sounding pretty good. We want this sound completely in mono because this is playing those sub frequencies, and a lot of club systems, that system from the low end below, 100 hertz or even 200 hertz is often likely going to be completely in mono anyway, so it doesn't even matter. In fact, having stereo information down there can even cause problems at times, so we're going to keep this completely in mono, and we want to actually adjust the phase. So I'm going to adjust the phase a little bit. Rather than free running it, I'm going to basically phase sync it to this particular, I guess this would be wherever this comes in. And what I'm going to do on this distortion is I'm going to choose this soft clip mode, and we're going to see if adding a little bit of this just kind of warms up the sound. which it does. Now what I'm going to do is Tools, copy this first oscillator to oscillator 2, and for this waveform we're going to choose this sine wave. So I'm going to turn this fade all the way off. That means it'll just kind of click between the individual waveforms, and we're going to use this to kind of mix in and hopefully bolster that fundamental. You can cancel it, or you can add to it, which is what I'm going to do. This dynamic bass here, that's quite a bit. That's sounding good. I'm going to copy this again to oscillator 3, but what I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to pitch this up an octave, and what I want to do is possibly phase cancel that second harmonic. So it's important that the phase is locked, and I'm going to bring this in. Oops, I want this to be in mono. Yeah, that's sounding pretty good. So we can see this kick and this bass. I may turn this up a little bit. Notice here by using this arpeggiator, we actually didn't need to draw in the notes in any way. We kind of just have it done like this. So really nice, you know, can keep it easy doing it like that. There's no effects on this. Once again, all this is doing is playing the low end. One of the things I may do is on this selected channel here, I may put on the plugin Sub Ninja. And what I want to do is just take a look at the kick and the sub when they're playing together. So this kick could be a little bit longer, what I'm seeing here, because it ends and then this thing starts. So let's go ahead and let me go ahead and open up this kick, and I can just adjust the length here to be a little bit longer the whole time, maybe 2. Kind of looking at this. This is, I think, what I want to do. Run it a little bit longer. Once again, I'm trying to avoid there's still a little bit. That's okay. I'd prefer it to be a little bit less. And what I'm also seeing is the sub bass is just maybe about as loud. I may turn this down just a hair. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, and what I'm hearing is a little bit of separation, which is what I would like to see. And what I may do is actually map this mod wheel to the volume in the negative direction. So I'm going to map this here and just bring it down like this. like that. So I can just kind of use this to fade it out. I mean, you don't really need to do that, but I'm just going to do it like that just to have it. And that way, when I move this mod wheel here, I can just go Tools, Last Tweaked, Create Automation Clip, and just so that way that I know that the subbase is mapped there to the volume. So this is the subbase volume. That way we don't have to use any plugins, any external stuff to do this. Usually I use like a gain plugin, but this is nice because it'll just basically keep it that way. Now, one thing you could do as well is you could put a limiter on this subbase channel. Now, built in here is this limiter under the effects section. And what this limiter would allow you to do is basically make sure every note sounded the same. Of course, you do this, you'd want to boost the gain to make up for it. Let's see what this looks like. The problem with doing this is because you have some attack, it's going to click through. So maybe I don't want to do this. Yeah, that's way better. Like that. So in context, let's see what happens. This sub pad comes in. Sounding good. In the next video, what we'll do is we will create a mid bass that will sit on top of the sub bass and kind of really give the track some drive.